Hello, let's do XCOM enemy within vanilla ability tier list. I will be ranking up every ability in the game based from my experience with Impossible Ironman. So the highest difficulty in the game. Mainly what I look at when I think of an ability, whether it's good or not, is well, there's different factors obviously, because some of them are like more damage dealing ability, other are more like defensive, right? Is not all, but I guess you could like factors would be like versatility, like is it an ability you can use like effectively often or not? That would be one thing. Obviously the value of the ability, like is it good or not, that's another thing. So ability just like give you much more power than another. That would be, I guess, general like criteria, but like there's not just that. Like it's just like I'll just rank them like how valuable I think they are. And I'll do from like lower rank to higher rank ability. So I guess we'll start with let's do a controversial one. Not controversial, but like a big one, I would say, which is a fire rocket. So when you play on lower difficulty, but I really precise, like obviously it's Impossible Ironman is what I'm looking for, but on lower difficulty, fire rocket is like, it's cool, right? It breaks cover, it do 6 damage, and it's nice, but it's not like an absolutely needed ability. However, in Impossible, I would almost go as far as to say the game would be impossible to complete if you didn't have this ability, because in the early game your soldier are trash, they aim like shit. But if you give them this ability, it makes engaging like the early game like rough fight much more like doable, because you sort of have this like panic button of like, oh shit, there's like 3 sectoid clumped up together and there's like 2 more not too far, and then you could just kill these 3 in one ability. That's like what makes fire rocket fantastic. And like the other thing too is that the damage, 6 damage in Impossible, it actually reach a breakpoint with pretty much every early game enemy, notable one being a Tin Man and a Floater, which literally allow you to one-shot them. So in the early game it's easily an S tier ability. But I think as a playthrough progress, it does lose its value. Like it's really a early game power spike ability. Once you progress, I would say like about like the 4th month, where you start to encounter Mechtoid, give or take, I guess, around that. You definitely start to use rocket much less, because that's like when you start to have like beam weapon for many, if not most, of your soldier. So damage is not become less of an issue compared to like the early game with assault rifle that will, it seems like, do 2 damage most of the time because XCOM. So early game S tier, late game, like mid game, I think it drops to like, I guess an A, and in late game I would put it more to a B. So how do I, that's a complicated one to rank, because I kind of want to put it S tier just because of its insane property early game. But it doesn't like, for it's kind of strange because for it to scale you need to buy like research and buy the blaster launcher, which is not something I would say I do every playthrough. Like if I get the chance and the time, I guess sure, but definitely is kind of time and resource consuming. But yeah, I think I'll put it like, yeah, if we do an average of like early game and then late game, yeah, I guess it's A tier. But early game, it's absolutely S tier, but S tier value. Then let's do, yes, where is the smoke? Let's do the smoke if I can find it, because they're not in order. That smoke and mirror. I want the regular smoke. Where is it? That's dense smoke, combat drug. Where's that damn thing? Am I blind? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, I guess I'm blind, confirm. All right, a smoke grenade. So it covers an area and give 20 defense. The problem with the smoke is that by itself, it's really not good. 20 defense and impossible is simply not enough. It is too little. For a smoke to be good, you need, where is it? You need dense smoke. So, yeah, 20 defense. I really don't like. I feel like even if you try to smoke, like a 10 man will like shoot through it easily. Like, no problem. Although it obviously reduced the chance, but against Sectoid, who, if you're behind full cover, have normally a 35% chance to hit you. I guess it drops it to 15. So I guess against Sectoid, it's not bad. But against like pretty much anything beyond that, you want a dense smoke for it to be reliable, I would say. Because the other problem with smokes in general is that even if you smoke and like the enemy have like a very low chance to hit you, if they have secondary ability, let's say a 10 man with the poison spit or a mutant with the grenade, they will literally just use that instead. So you're just changing what attack you'll be taking, which in the end you still take damage. And sometimes the smoke can get you killed. Like if you throw a smoke to protect someone, give them defense, then that person is being grenaded. Now that soldier is exposed, and the smoke by itself will just not be enough to protect you from your soldier being flanked and being shot. So yeah, I think it's either a B or a C. I think it's a... I think of the starting ability, it is definitely the weakest by far. Like, yeah, the smoke by itself is, I think it's C tier. It's not that great by itself. It's, yeah, sometimes it will help, but you gotta also consider all the time it will not work and you'll get shot through it. That is my point. Like sometimes, yeah, Tin Man will miss you while, and that is nice. And also, I think the mission you're talking about, I had dense smoke on that. If it's the one I think you're talking about, the guy had dense smoke. So I'm really referring to the smoke like the squatty smoke, not the upgraded one. So I think a C tier is a fair ranking for it. Let's do run and gun. Then I guess we'll do headshot afterward. Run and gun, I think, is the opposite of fire rocket. In the early game, so run and gun is like, I guess in case people don't know, it's like it allows you to do I guess the equivalent of like at best like 2 movement while still shooting. That's kind of like the idea, to cover more distance and then be able to shoot. In the early game, the problem is that more often than not, you will, if you try to run and gun to kill something, trigger another pod. And in the early game, you don't have the tools and the firepower to really allow you to take that risk. So in the early game, I don't think run and gun is not that great, I would say. I would say it's among the weaker ability. In the late game, however, it is absolutely amazing S tier for sure. The early game I would probably say it's B tier. Like it has its value and it like usage, but you gotta be really mindful of it. So, and plenty of time you'll be like purposely not wanting to use it just to make sure you don't trigger pod, because you wouldn't be able to deal with that pod if you trigger one. Where in the late game, that's not so much the case, and then you can afford much more to take those risks, and that become less of an issue, and like disability become much more usable. And yeah, So late game, I would say it's definitely S tier. Early game, I would say it's B tier. So I guess it's kind of like the rocket. I guess it will sit next to it. Very wonderful, like, ability that really make the assault class. It's very fun to use. To just like run gun next to someone, then blast it with a shotgun. I think it never gets old. Especially when you get like other like assault ability combined together. Yeah, it just makes run and gun absolutely amazing. Then where is Headshot? Oh, that's Executioner. Where are you? Right here. All right, Headshot is unlike his ability, I would say it's just an ability that does what it says reliably all the time. It just increases your crit chance, and when you do crit, something that many people I think don't know is that it makes your crit do more damage. And that property, well, both of these property are pretty nice, both early game and late game. To put things into perspective, in the early game when you're on ballistic weapon, the only way without a rocket obviously to one shot a tin man is with a critical from a sniper, a shotgun, or a LMG. That is, yeah, the only way to get a one shot. And I mean, this ability literally helps you with that. But then when you get to the third month where you can fight Muton, the extra damage provided by Headshot, because usually by that time you might still be on like ballistic sniper depending on how you teched up. So the extra damage is really nice because it usually will put them to a breakpoint where a next shot will almost guarantee to kill it. Because like even like the regular sniper with the like critical headshot it does like quite significant damage. So yeah, the only problem with headshot is that it's not guaranteed to get a crit. And yeah, sometimes you might not get your quite often you might have your shot not critting, and that really makes or break whether or not you get a kill. So I think because of that, I'll probably just put it A tier. Along with I think in terms of value, it's about the same as run and gun. Although the only difference that I think in a playthrough, Headshot is like more like it doesn't really change how good it is depending on like early game or late game. Whereas run and gun, like early game, it's I would say weaker than Headshot, but late game I would put it above. I would say of the starting ability, it's actually the best. And yeah. All right. Actually, let's do mech, right? Because when you turn a soldier into a mech, they get a built-in ability, and I think they're here. Yeah, so they get. Actually, they get. That's actually. No, it's not this. It's this. They get that. They also get distortion field. They also get. Where is the body shield? Right here. And then there is platform stability. All right, let's do these 5. So the one ability that any mech will get when they are turned into mech. So no matter the rank, right? Even if you turn like a squatty into a mech, will be collateral damage. So collateral damage, you use, I think it's the equivalent of 2 ammo, and it will break cover and do a bit of damage guarantee. Collateral damage, the ability itself is nice, right? I mean, anything that breaks cover is good, especially when it's guaranteed, right? That's what makes grenades so nice, is the fact that there's not like an aim check for it, unlike a rocket, for example. So that portion is really cool. The headed damage early game is nice to like sort of like reduce the like let's say a 10 man HP, because it usually will be like I think it's kind of like disabling shot where it's based on your weapon you're using. So like early game it will do maybe like 1 to 2, and late game like 4 maybe. I don't know. It's not an ability I've used a lot, but yeah, it does like some chip damage. So early game it's kind of nice. Like if you like breaks Tin Man cover, then it's more likely for the next shot to kill it rather than needing like extra shot, right? Because in possible Ironman, you really want to make effective use of your action. Like you don't want to waste action. So yeah, the extra damage is kind of nice. The problem with collateral damage is that it consumes more ammo on a class that have severe ammo issue. And the thing is, mechs start with really dry mags. Like their mags are really low, and like it needs to be pretty much full to make use of it. So if the previous turn you did shoot, your mag will not be like big enough for you to get a collateral damage. You'll have to reload. And in the early game, where breaking cover is usually the most like a bigger strategy in your gameplay, because your soldier's aim is usually, well, it will be worse at when they're lower rank. That's when you want to be breaking cover more. That is where this ability would come in handy more often than not. But then you get so much ammo issue that I really don't find that to be particularly like effective because of that. I think if mechs had more ammo per clip, and there's actually an ability that you get being where is it? Expanded storage, which increased their magazine size by 50%, which does synergize with collateral damage. The problem is that that ability is, I think, a captain ability. So yeah, it's not something you'll have early. But I mean, if you get there, that's synergy for you. With that said, yeah, I think collateral damage is, for me, because of the ammo consumption issue, too inconsistent to be considered valuable. I think because of that, it's either a B or a C. I don't like this ability. Like, it consumes way too much ammo. It's unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I think I'll put it in C, actually. Like, the ammo to me really, yeah, really kills it for me. All right. Let's do, oh boy, these are, so I guess I put them in this order. Let's do those in this order. So shock absorbs an armor. Pretty much if the enemy is 4 tile or closer to your mech, the mech will take 33% less damage. So the scenario where this is really good is during Terra mission, especially early game, against a Chrysalid, because where this ability really shine is against melee enemy, because it's guaranteed to proc. All right, music. Thanks for stopping by, and see you later. But yeah, against melee enemy, this ability is literally quite amazing, because like zombies, they hit really hard, like 10 plus damage easily. Chrysalid, same thing. Berserker, same thing. So against those enemy, this ability is amazing. Outside of that, it gets really situational. The other case where this ability is kind of nice is when you go, if you take the kinetic fist punch ability. Since this ability will first increase your mobility, and second increase gives you like a literally like point blank melee ability, you'll usually try to get your mech like in people's face as much as possible, thus increasing the chance of triggering this. So no, yeah, that's a pretty, I would say, of the mech passive, I would say it might be among the better one. It's not the best, like there's one out of these four that is by far the superior option, and we'll get to it, but it's not this one. But it's definitely not the weaker. It's definitely... I think it's a B tier. It's not insane, but it's not like... What it does it well. So I think a B tier is a fair ranking. However, Distortion Field, that thing is... Well, it's the clear worst option out of these four. And here's why. Here's the reason why Distortion Field is not good. So what it does, it gives your mech will have an aura, and any soldier next to it while being in cover will gain an extra 10 defense. So you would think like 10 defense, like just by doing nothing, is good. And I mean, defense is a valuable stat. You are correct. But here is the problem. And Tactical Senses, when we'll get to it in not too long, have a similar problem. In that, in Classic and above, thus in Impossible, enemy will always target who they have the highest chance they have to hit if they're shooting. The problem is if you have Distortion Field, the soldier next to your mech, if they're behind half cover, they'll have 30 instead of 20 defense. If they're behind full cover, they'll have 50 instead of 40 defense. The problem is that mechs, I think they have by default a 10 defense. That's their base defense, and they can't use cover. So you might give like your troop nearby more defense, but that is meaningless because the enemy will always target your mech no matter what, because they already have less defense. Thus, this ability effectively does almost nothing. The worst thing about it is that the range, because it requires you to put the mech nearby other soldier, you're kind of asking to be grenaded or rocketed if you're doing an Exalt mission. So yeah, this ability is just not good. That is a clear D tier for me. Body Shield. The Body Shield, what does it do? So the closest target to the mech will have I think it's 20 aim penalty, and will be unable to crit the mech. By the way, mechs comes with hardened, so they have like built-in crit chance reduction, but they can still be crit because like what the hardened mainly counters is the flank bonus that a target would get on you for shooting you. Since you can't use cover, the mech is technically always considered an expose. But the hardened mitigate that, but then Body Shield had an extra layer of like crit mitigation. But Body Shield has an ability. I think it's a B or C tier. It doesn't suffer from like Distortion Field because it actually makes the mech tankier by reducing the chance of being hit, and reduce the chance of being crit if it's the target to who is it's applied. But the problem with Body Shield is it's only one target. So if there's like 2 or more people shooting you, only one of them will have the debuff apply. It's kind of like suppression. And you don't get to, the worst is you don't get to choose who. So, and it's not a crazy amount of defense. It's like if you gave a half cover to your mech. So yeah, I've had scenario where like this ability did help like mitigate damage, but by itself, it's not great. Like you need to pair that with where is it? The advance, not fire control, but I should have really sorted those out. Like the one at like when you go on Overwatch, you gain defense. Where is it? It's advance. Wait, is it not here? I really can't. Yeah, I should have sorted those out for sure. This one. Automated threat assessment. which what it does when you go on Overwatch, you gain 15 defense. So if you pair like the base 10 of the mag, then 20 from the body shield, and 15 from that, you get to 45. That start to be in the early game noticeable amount of defense, but in the late game it just, yeah, you'll need way more than that to even like tank something. So because of that, I think the body shield is not great. I don't think it's a great ability. I think it sits in the C tier. I think a shortcut sword armor, for what it, at least what it does in a proper scenario, it's really effective. Whereas this, I truly think it should just give more defense or something like that. Platform stability, though, I would say this is by far the best mech ability, and it mainly is because it synergizes extremely well with overdrive. So in case you don't know, platform stability, if the mech haven't moved, it will gain bonus 10 aim and 10 crit chance. And overdrive, what it does, if you don't move, you can shoot. It's pretty much bullet storm. If you don't move, you get to shoot, or you don't hand your turn after shooting. Okay, you can shoot twice, you can shoot and reload, you can shoot and move. Very good ability. So these two really synergize together. And yeah, because of that, I would say like 10 defense and 10 crit is not, like, it's might seem like little, but it does make a difference. So, and like, because you usually want to like try to not move with your mech, that's like direct good, very good synergy there. And the crit chance can actually make a difference. It's not like aggression type of difference, but I mean, it does like those two bonus together, it does make a difference. And I think because of that, it goes in the A tier. It's pretty nice. All right, so that would be all the squatty ability done. So I guess now we will do corporal. And I did mention let's actually do the assault one. So since I mentioned tactical senses and aggression, where is aggression? Actually, let's, if I see some other from that tier, I'll bring them up here. Aggression is right here. All right. So I know that's kind of a question, like what's better between tactical senses and aggression. And if you've seen so far where I put these ability, like the current placed ability, you might have an idea of what I would favor. So tactical senses, I think, is a solid B tier. I think it's an overall overrated ability, and here's why. But I don't think it's useless compared to like body shield or distortion field. The tactical senses give you 5 defense per enemy your assault will see, up to a max of 20. So 20 is the defense cap for this ability, which kind of is the first problem. Like if there's like 5 enemies shooting at you, the 5th one will not give you extra bonus. But to me, the biggest problem with tactical senses is not that, is because is mainly the enemy in impossible, like I've said before, will target the person with the highest chance they have to hit. And if you give your assault like higher defense, that just means you'll make someone else take the hit instead. So in some cases, tactical senses is utterly useless. If you clump like all your guys together, or like close enough that the enemy have like LOS on each of them, your assault chance of being shot is very low. So you'd think, why then did you put it in B tier? The thing is, like, this ability can actually be exploited because, first of all, unlike body shield, it works on everybody having having shot on you, right? So if there's 3 people shooting you, the 3 of them will have to shoot you through this. The other thing is that if someone if an enemy gets really close to you, this is where this it's one of the cases where this ability actually comes in handy, because alien also do get aim bonus, much like you do. So if they get really close, they'll have higher chance from hitting you because aim bonus. And because of that, tactical senses can help to combat that, so that you're like, so to give an example, a sectoid that normally have 75 aim in impossible, if they get almost point blank, it's like 30-ish, depending on like how many tile there is between you and them. So if there's like 4 person in the line of sight of your assault, that almost mitigate that. That's pretty nice. The other cases where you could abuse this ability is if you pair that with a squad, like a bunch of squad side sniper. What you would do is send your assault like forward, kind of like a scout, and then when they see stuff, you let the squad side sniper shoot stuff, and then have it like anchor down, because this ability gets multiplied by a anchor down, actually. So you can get some crazy defense bonus. So I think because of those instance, I think it has some value, but it's not like this like crazy, like super good ability that some people make it sound like. I think it's fair to, it's in the B tier. Aggression, on the other hand, I think it's the opposite. I think it's super underrated. So what aggression does, similar to tactical senses, for every enemy that you see up to 3, it gives you an extra 10% crit chance. So up to 30%, because it caps at 3 enemy. So the first advantage I think of aggression is that the capped is easier to achieve than tactical senses, because pods in XCOM always have a max of a 3 alien. So that means that if your assault have, when you trigger the pod, have line of sight on the entire group, you automatically are guaranteed to get a full bonus. Whereas tactical senses, you'll get 15 instead of 20 defense. So I think that's the first point in favor of aggression. But I think that's like not the biggest one. Like the big deal with aggression is that when you flank a target, you get a bonus 50 crit chance. Shotgun by default, they come with 20, so those stack together up to additively, so up to 70. So if early game you try to flank a target, you have 3 shot out of 10 that would not crit. Because of that, you can have cases where your assault go for a flank, shoot, and do not crit, and could potentially get the assault kill. For example, early game, if you try to flank a 10-man, miss the crit, and the 10-man is still alive. Aggression literally mitigate that completely, or not completely, but depending on like how many target there is. But to some very good degree, and it's very effective at that. The other cases where aggression is excellent is against a target with that are either behind full like cover, so they are not exposed, or a target that are ardent, so they have a crit chance reductions, such as a mectoid or sectopod, to name a few. And the reason being is that, especially if you combine aggression with rapid fire, which is an absolutely amazing ability, and I'll get to it later, can drastically increase your chance to get crits on those target. And I mean, mectoid have like a lot of HP, and let's not even talk about sectopod, because these things are tanky as fuck. So being able to have much more chance to actually crit them is really huge, and it really changed like how much damage you can do to those target. So yeah, because of, and the last thing with aggression is that it does synergize very well with other assault ability, such as Brigamon, which is right here. as well as Killer Instinct, to name a few. So yeah, because of that, I think Aggression is a easy A-tier ability. So actually, for now, I'll put it here. So those are the two squatty assault ability. Next, I guess let's do assault since I have covering fire here. So you get either covering fire or sprinter. Sprinter. Let's do sprinter first. Sprinter is very simple. It makes your soldier move more tile by 3. Sprinter is very straightforward. It does one thing, but it does it extremely well. I don't think it's necessary for a support to have it, but it just makes them extremely mobile. Like, it's that good. Like, it's really good because like you can keep your support more backward, like more at the in a safer spot, like further behind. And if like someone gets injured, like forward, they can cross the gap more easily because they can move more and get to next to them and like revive them if need be. So that with like all the medic ability like revive and such is absolutely amazing because it can make the difference between like you reviving the guy on its last turn of bleeding out and not. So yeah, I think Sprinter is very good. I think it's a solid A-tier ability for sure. I would definitely say it's better in platform stability. Is it better in aggression? It's probably around the same. We'll put it here for now. So yeah, Sprinter, very simple, but very good ability. Covering fire, on the other hand, oh boy, that is definitely one of the worst ability in the game. I'd say it's better than Distortion Field when it works. But here's the problem with this ability, because I should say the plethora of problem. The first one is you gotta consider that most target that will shoot you, they'll be behind cover doing so. And because of that, when you overwatch someone that is behind cover, they do benefit from the cover bonus that they have. So they're harder to hit. When you overwatch, your overwatch shot gets a aim penalty. So normally when you overwatch, or same for the enemy, they'll shoot at 70% of their normal aim. And that penalty is applied against if the target is dashing. Combine those together and it makes your shot really hard to connect to begin with. And support have a good aim progression, but they're not like sniper aim. So it's kind of hard to have your shot connect to begin with. The second problem, and to me that's actually the biggest one, is that this ability is literally bugged. Because sometimes you'll overwatch and your soldier will simply not cover fire. It happens like regularly. Like from my experience, it happens at least like 50% of the time that it should proc. So yeah. And that's unfortunate because covering fire, like when you look at the support ability, it does have good synergy with suppression along with Sentinel. So suppression, what it does is you use double the ammo to reduce someone aim by 30, and if they move, you'll get an overwatch shot. But then if you have covering fire, if they try to shoot you, you also shoot them, so that's pretty cool. And then Sentinel would give you 2 shot per overwatch. So like if someone tried to move, then you shoot them, and if someone else tried to like move or then with covering fire shoot, you get another shot. But unfortunately, like this ability suffers from so many things that it makes it just bad value, unfortunately. So I think in the support, in the case of the support, like Sprinter is just, unless you're trying to do some gimmicky shit that are not like the most effective thing, Sprinter should be pretty much what you pick all the time for that tier. Then I guess let's do, well, I see this one, so let's do heavy and then bullet swarm. Bullet Swarm versus auto targeting. Bullet Swarm is very good. I mean, as I've said with Overdrive, it's literally Overdrive, but on corporal tier for heavy. That's the crazy part about this. The ability to either shoot twice or shoot reload or shoot move or shoot grenade, that works too, is actually insane. And the fact that the heavy get that ability on corporal rank is kind of insane. When well, the only downside of this ability is that you have to not have move for hit to apply, which is kind of something the heavy tries to do because of the rocket, if possible. But the crazier thing about it is that snipers, when they get to Colonel, they have literally the same ability called double tap, with the difference that it has a cooldown, and it's a Colonel ability. It does literally the same thing as a Bullet Swarm. Actually, it does even less, because Bullet Swarm you can shoot and then do pretty much any action afterward, whereas double tap it only will allow you to like shoot or use like other shot ability like headshot or disabling shot. So I guess that's something for it, whereas like Bullet Swarm, your first shot needs to be a regular shot. But heavies, they're only like shooting type of ability is either a regular shot or a suppression, so it's really not a downside. The only problem really with Bullet Swarm that I have is not even like the not having to move aspect of it, is that it's on the heavy, which is the class with by far the worst aim progression. So Bullet Swarm then is really restricted to your heavies having really crazy starting aim, especially if you play with not created equal, the second wave option. If your heavy doesn't have like good aim, I would skip it and go with auto targeting, because then you'll just waste ammo and have to reload like constantly. But if they have good aim, then it's really good, because then it synergizes very well with heat ammo against the robotic unit, such as the Mechtoid, the Sectopod, Cyberdisc, mainly. And because of that, I think I will actually put this in the S tier. Even though heavies have not good aim, it's just so good of an ability. Bullet Swarm is just amazing when it works. Like when your heavies is hitting. It kind of is crazy that they get that when they reach Corporal. Auto targeting on the other end is an interesting ability. I definitely don't think it's as good as Bullet Swarm. I'll straight up say it. But the ability to increase your aim chance by 10 on the target for everybody in the squad is kind of a nice debuff. And I think auto targeting is the opposite of Bullet Swarm. Whereas Bullet Swarm, you want it on your heavies with really good aim, so they really can get a lot of shot in. Auto targeting, I think, is the opposite. If your heavies have garbage aim, if they're like, if you play with created not created equal, and you have like a heavy with like 55 or 60 or even 65 starting aim, I would definitely slap that over Bullet Swarm, because they'll hit nothing, but at least even if they miss, they get value, because they increase the chance of your other soldier to hit. And auto targeting value gets better the more you increase the squad size, because you can get more shot in. Thus, this gets more valuable. But yeah, I think it's a pretty nice ability. The only problem is that you have to kind of like waste an action for it to proc. So I think I'll put it in the B tier. It's nice, but like the aim bonus is not insane. Like 10 is nice, but it's not like amazing. But it gives like garbage aim heavies a utility. So those are the And it also synergizes with the suppression. Like if your heavies have suppression and they suppress, this will apply as well. I almost forgot to point that out. And now we're going to hit, oh boy, this is going to be an interesting one. Squad sight versus snapshot. I know this is probably even more debated than like tactical senses and aggression, and I don't understand why. Here, there's an obvious winner, and anybody that tells you otherwise is, I would say, a fool. Because squad sight, I would literally go as far as to say it's the best ability in the game, and I don't think it's even close. And hear me out. Why is squad sight so good? So let's talk about what it does first. So it is one of the two corporal sniper ability. So what it does is, if one of your other soldiers sees a alien and your sniper is in the line of sight to shoot it, you will be able to do so. Because normally soldier have a I guess a shooting range, you could say, like up to where they can shoot, or so if the target is like beyond that, normally you would not be able to take that shot, or see, I guess I could say. But sniper with this ability are actually able to bypass that. And like the downside, because there's one downside that comes with squad sight, is that if you shoot as a target that is squad sighted, you are unable to crit it unless you use headshot. But that doesn't really matter, because sniper, well, they have headshot, so you can still use headshot to headshot a squad-sided to crit a squad-sided target. But I think as they're so accurate that, I mean, they can still do reliable damage without it. And usually, like, it's rare you need more than one headshot in like one pod, I would say. But like the crazy part about squad sight, and that's why it's so good, is that it protects you from so many things. Because I've mentioned about tactical senses that the problem with it is, if the alien sees like your group, they'll not shoot you, they'll just shoot other target, right? But squad sight, if you can shoot them without them seeing you, having line of sight on you because you're so far away, you can literally ensure that your sniper cannot be targeted, thus they can't die, right? This is freaking amazing, because that's just, you literally have a built-in tactical senses in squad sight that literally makes you immune to damage as long as you're not in range. But it doesn't even end there, because since yet again you can shoot them without them seeing you, you can then also make your soldier pseudo immune to mind control, because it literally works the same way based on line of sight. If the alien can see your soldier, they can mind control it, but if they don't, they can't do it. So then you can abuse squad sight to have your sniper not be mind control. And it's kind of nice to have your sniper not be mind control, because they have access to an ability that is called disabling shot. So yeah, if someone gets mind control, it can be nice to have a disabling shot ready to disable your mind control soldier weapon. But not only it doesn't even end there, the other wonderful thing about squad sight is that more often than not, you can, on many map, get great value out of it by finding a very good spot that your sniper can just sit there the entire mission and fire from there every turn. It's because normally a sniper would have to, and that's why you have snapshot as the other ability. Normally a sniper can't move and shoot at this in the same turn. That's like their quirk, right? But then if you find a spot that covers the entire map, and on many maps, like I've said, it is very doable. You don't even have to worry about that because you can just put your sniper in one spot and then just shoot every turn. And because of all those reasons, I think Squad Sight is easily the best ability in the game. It is hands down what makes Sniper a wonderful class. Some would say it's double tap, but I think like Squad Sight is the one ability Sniper have that is better. I would literally go as far as Sniper. If they didn't have this ability, they would not be a good class. Snapshot, on the other hand, I find this ability so... I think it's a trap. And here's the thing. Pretty much what Snapshot does is it allows you to move and shoot in the same turn, but with your sniper, but it induces an aim penalty doing so of, I think, 10. The problem is you have the sniper that is a class built around having crazy aim, right? But that can't move and shoot in the same turn. But then you remove that restriction of not being able to shoot and move and shoot in the same turn, but at the cost of applying an aim penalty. And then for you to get that shot, you need to be like in the enemy range for it to do so. So pretty much you're taking a class that have some like very noticeable like strength, and you're just stripping them off just to like allow them to shoot. I think it's like yeah, it's definitely, I think I definitely see it as a trap, because then like you lose your crazy aim by applying that penalty, and it really is noticeable if you then combine that with disabling shot. Yeah, I don't think it's like, if you're going to pick Snapshot, you might as well just bring another class. And if you're using Snapshot, you're using the sniper class very wrong. There is no good reason to pick Snapshot over a Squad Sight. If you're going to pick Snapshot, you should just bring something else. Like support, they'll give you better value. Assault, like, they'll give you better value, and same for heavies. If you compare it to a Snapshot sniper, it's yeah, nah, this ability, I don't think it's nah, I just don't think it's good or anything. It's yeah. Although I guess if you were to use it, if we're talking synergy, it does synergize with In the Zone compared to Squad Sight. Oh wait, no, it's the opposite. No, yeah, it does synergize with In the Zone, because since you're moving, you can't use double tap. Whereas like Squad Sight kind of synergize with both, but especially double tap, because you usually don't want to move your Squad Sight sniper. You want to be shooting anyway. So yeah, but that's about it for synergy with Snapshot. Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, I really don't like this ability at all. I guess let's do the mix corporal ability. Didn't I had it earlier? The one that gives you I didn't put it. Where are you? There we go. Automated threat assessment and advanced fire control. So what do they do? Let's do it. Let's do, I guess, disorder. That's fine. Advanced fire control, what it does, when you overwatch, your mechs will not have the aim penalty. Simple as that. And automated threat assessment, your mech will gain 15 defense when it overwatch. Considering mechs, because they're usually put like out in the open, like usually having access to like the most line of sight of like any class, probably if you overwatch them, they'll usually be the first one shooting a target if something comes in. So advanced fire control gives you value, like pretty much like very effectively, I would say. And I think at that it's very simple. It just like removes the aim bonus, but yeah, I mean it makes your Overwatch more consistent. That's pretty good. Like many classes would love getting something like this, mainly the support and the heavies. Unfortunately, they don't. I don't really have much to say about it. Just remove aim penalty when overwatching. So that's more aim is always nice. Automated threat assessment. We talked about it earlier when I mentioned body shield. It has synergy with it, but I think that's it. Like if you're not having body shield, I think you should most of the time pick this, because then you'd have like at best 25 defense, and that just is too low. And your overwatches are almost never gonna hit. So yeah, I think if you're using a body shield mech, then probably go for that. Otherwise, go for advanced fire control, because 15 defense is just too little, and that's like conditional. Like you have to be overwatching. If you're reloading, does not apply. If you're moving twice, does not apply. If you're moving and shooting, does not apply. It's yeah, pretty niche. Not the most exciting tier, I would say, but yeah. Then I guess we move on to the sergeant tier. Sergeant, let's do. I see. I guess we could do heavies, because heavies are getting Shredder Rocket and Suppression. Yeah, let's do those. So Shredder Rocket literally is a rocket that does less damage. So if you don't have the upgraded rocket, it does 4. If you have the blaster launcher, it does, I think, 6. And rockets, and by the way, gets benefit from ETAMO, but I'll get to that when we get to that ability. Shredder Rocket, however, gets a unique property of shredding enemy. And when you shred an enemy, they will take 33% more damage. That is wonderful against Mechtoid, who, if they are mind merged by a Sectoid or a Sectoid commander, get a shield that reduces damage by half until it's broke. And a Sectopod have innate passively 50% damage resistance, so being able to apply shred to targets like these is just absolutely amazing. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it is a wonderful ability to take. Like heavies, that's kind of strange. They're probably the most, like, in the late game, they're a very super focus class. Like they're really made to tackle specific enemy, but at that they're absolutely amazing. But if there's like none of those, enemy being mainly robotic unit, yeah, that's like the only downside of this ability, is that in many cases your heavy is just better off shooting. But yeah, against if your team damage output is not great, and then you're fighting like a Sectopod or even a Mechtoid, I would say pretty cool. Or even like Mutant Elite or whatnot. I definitely say it's better in this. And yeah, it's definitely better in Sprinter. Is it better in Aggression? Maybe. I'll try to sort them out like toward the end. Suppression. So the heavy will use 2 ammo to suppress an enemy. Like I've said, I think before, it reduced the enemy aim by 30. And if they move, they will have to take a Overwatch shot. So it does synergize with a few of like heavy's abilities, such as noticeably hollow targeting, because then you will apply the aim bonus. I don't really want to call that a synergy, but technically on paper it does synergize with the rapid, I think it's called rapid reflexes. Is it here? Probably, but I probably just can't see it. which is an ability that if your heavies on Overwatch hit something, they have access to a second Overwatch shot. But yeah, suppression. I think it's a. I would say it's a pretty alright. I think it's like pretty B tier ability. It's not like amazing because 30 defense is at 30 aim penalty, but it's like pretty much giving like 30 defense to your dude. It's nice. It's a good bonus, but it's not. It doesn't like on some enemy. It's not crazy like. Because if you're behind full cover, you'll have 40. Then if you suppress, you technically have 70 against that specific target. But like if you shoot something that have like 80 aim max, so let's say a Sectopod, Mectoid, I guess you could say it's pretty good. But then against target like Muton Elite that have 100 aim, that's just not gonna cut it. And I had time where I suppress a target. I think one time was a 10-man who on an impossible have 85 aim with their gun. And I was behind full cover, so that means they had 15% chance to hit me. Still worked, like, and that was one shot. They didn't spam me like through multiple turns. Like that's crazy. But the cool thing about suppression I've noticed is that it tends to, unlike smoke, it tends to make the AI sometimes do nothing or just Overwatch or hunker down, like make them do nothing meaningful, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's a B tier ability. It's nice to reduce enemy aim. Always something that is nice to have. And yeah. All right, so that was the heavies. I guess now we can do. Oh, that was rapid. It was here. I guess we can do like Assault Next, Lightning Reflexes, and I'll be honest, I always confuse these two. I think Close and Personal is the one that is. Yeah, because that Close Combat Special is the one that you get later at the Captain rank. All right, let's do these two. I kind of feel the same as I did with the Sniper and like Squad Sight and Snapshot here, but not as strongly, I would say. Because Lightning Reflexes is an absolutely amazing ability, clearly S tier. So what does it do? Every turn, the first Overwatch or reaction shot that you take is a guaranteed miss. And at first you would think like, okay, I guess that's like if you're sloppy and like move your guys out when someone was on Overwatch and I guess you forgot and then. But that's not really how you should see this ability. You have to think about it the other way around. The Assault is like it says, an assault class. It's meant to rush in to do do damage, get value by going in, right? The one thing at lower, like earlier in a playthrough, I can fuck up Assault is Overwatches because Meditating and Impossible early on will one shot. Almost everything will one shot you. Overwatch is included. So having an ability that counters Overwatches is absolutely amazing because it really enables the Assault class to push in without having to worry about like being shot through a Overwatches. I don't think it's like as crazy as Quad Sight of a game changer, but it's pretty close, I would say. Definitely on the same tier. Because yeah, it really increased the ability of the Assault to be more aggressive. And that's what I like about it. But not only that, but it can provide indirect utility to the rest of the squad. If I'll give a very possible example. On the fourth month, there's the Mectoid that start to come in. And Mectoid, when they are revealed on the map, when you see them, they will always go on Overwatch. So if you move around the map and then reveal a Mechtoid pod. This ability is really nice to trigger the overwatch of the Mechtoid, so then your other soldier can move in position. Because otherwise, if you don't have a tool, like you'd fight a Mechtoid, and like you're forced to just have your guy stay where they were because they can't move, and Mechtoid do like crazy damage. So yeah, lightning reflexes. It's kind of cool because like I said, it has a team utility indirectly. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Close and personal. This one I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Because pretty much what it does, if your assault is 4 tile or closer, I think, to an enemy, you can get a free shot. But it does not synergize with run and gun. And it's very situational. Sometimes it doesn't, you're like too far to get use of it. But other time it's amazing. I think it's either an A or a B. It's kind of situational though. Yeah, I think I'll put it at B. Because, yeah. And the problem is, like, it comes compete with, like, reflexes. So. Yeah. I'm really not sure about this one. I've used it a bit, but. Like, in some situations, it's really good. But in other, it's. You're just like, oh, I would have liked to have. Lightning reflexes, so. Yeah. But when it works, it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's probably. And it does have synergy too with. Now I think about it, with close combat specialists, because that kind of incentivizes you to go in, right? And if you get closer, then you're more likely to prog this. So I guess there's some synergy there, but yeah. I think the sort of like situational aspect of it kind of like brings in doubt for me, because what it does is nice. When it works really well. But it often just, you don't get the value out of it compared to like this. So yeah. But it's still like nice, I would say. So I guess next I can do, let's do sniper. So let's do damn good ground and gunslinger. Let's do gunslinger first. So I think a lot of people, if they have to pick, they'll go with gunslinger over damn good ground. And I think that is a pretty big mistake. I think gunslinger is overrated. Not useless, but I think it is overrated. So gunslinger is very simple. Give +2 damage to pistol. Literally what it does, you use your pistol, you'll do guaranteed 2 extra damage. And the way many people use it is, they have to either move their sniper for whatever reason, right? And then they want to shoot, they get gunslinger. They plug the pistol and they do more damage with it. Which I guess can work. But like I've said before, with squad sight, you should, if you're good enough and know the maps well, you can find a spot where your sniper doesn't have to move the entire mission and just shoot forever. And if you're far enough that the enemy can't see you, you should not be in trouble where you need to move in the first place. And the thing with squad sight is it does not work with pistol. It only works with sniper. So I don't think gunslinger really is valuable. The one case where I do like it is for operative soldier when you do exalt mission. The person you'll send will only have a pistol as a weapon. Thus, if they shoot every time, they'll have this triggering, which is pretty cool. And usually what I end up doing is, if I have a sniper that doesn't have good stat, aka aim, I'll usually just give them gunslinger and use them as operative soldier to send all the time. But I think it's like super situational of an ability. And 2 damage is like, pistols do mediocre damage, so even like heading 2 doesn't really do much. And to start to get some actual decent damage, you need to use like plasma pistol. So yeah. I think it's kind of situational, and because of that, but it has some value, I guess. So I guess I'll put in the seat here. Damn good ground. On the other hand, I think it's underrated. So what it does is, if you have height advantage over someone, you gain an extra 10 aim and 10 defense on them. And in case you don't know, when you have height advantage or high ground, you by default gain an extra 20 aims. So that stacks over it. So you start to get a lot of aim bonus. And let me tell you something, if there's one class that loves to go on high ground, it's the sniper. So yeah, I think it's a similar ability to platform stability, where it's just like a conditional passive that gives you bonus. Although I think the bonus here are, I would say, a bit weaker. The 10 aim is, I think, absolutely perfect, but it's the 10 defense that, more often than not, it is useless because of squad sight. Because you won't be shot at anyway, so the bonus will do nothing. But the 10 aim by itself is really cool, and I think because of that, it's definitely a B tier for me. If you get height, an extra 10 aim on top of the extra 20 that you'll be given, it's pretty cool. And it does synergize very well with squad sight, at least the aim portion. So yeah, pretty solid ability. I think if you go like the squad sight sniper route, you should always pick damn good ground over a gunslinger. The exception being if you make a operative, like build an operative sniper that you bring in as the soldier you send. So yeah. Then let's do the next tier, and I think this one it will be, well, I guess we have mech and support, so I guess let's do support, since we have these 2 abilities here. Smoke and mirrors and field medic. That probably is the most balanced tier of any class, to be honest. Because I'll be honest, neither of these is better than the other. And they're equally good, because they just give you more of either smokes or medikit. And the way I see like smoke versus medikit, smokes are more proactive of an ability, whereas medikit are more reactive. Let me explain. You get into a fight and like you see a big enemy that's about to like shoot you with something that do big damage. If you want to like proactively react to it, you would use a smoke to try to make him miss, right? Especially when you have dense smoke. Yeah, you get then 3 of them. On the other end, I guess if you're more like the reactive type of player that is like you're waiting for someone to get hit, then I guess field medic would be better, because you get more medikits. So like I guess you'll be like more the kind of people that wait until you take damage to heal it. But I think what they do, like giving you like 3 charges over instead of 1 of smoke and medikit respectively, is pretty good. I don't think it's like crazy, but it's definitely like a solid, maybe low A or B. I'll put it in the B for now, but I might bump it up later. because it's very simple. It just gives you more resource, and I mean resource that makes the support class pretty good. So yeah. Then I think we are. Wait, I'll be honest. This tier for what is the ability that mechs get for this tier? I think it is. Is it not? Where is it? I can't find it. I think it's the one that like reduce damage after you took damage. Where is it? Damage control, I think. And I think it competes with... I think it's a vital point targeting, is it? Because then in Lieutenant you have... Yep, I think these are, yeah. The mech sergeant ability. So vital point targeting is actually pretty good. So what it does is extra 2 damage against any alien you autopsied, or 2 damage against human. So I like, that's kind of weird because I think this ability should be further down the tree, because usually by the time, if you get a mech to sergeant early on, you usually won't have autopsied like anything or enough alien type to really get value out of this. So I think if you make like a first mech early on, you should probably go with damage control because of that. Unless you started with South America as your continental bonus, and there's like a big synergy between vital point targeting and SA. Because South America, the continental bonus, in case you don't know, gives you instant autopsies and interrogation, being crazy synergy because you don't even have to spend time to get those autopsy going to get the damage here. But yeah, that's if you go South America, which not everybody does. So realistically, if you don't in a playthrough, you'd usually on your first mech give damage control, because at least that will be value given, and damage control is actually, it does make a difference early on, like for tanking. It does reduce the damage you take by quite a lot. When you take like damage that are between like 4 to 6 usually, it does make a difference more than the vital point targeting. But vital point targeting late game is the clear superior option. Like being able to do 2 extra damage when you get like the mech particle cannon, I think it's called, that's a lot of damage. Start to rack up. So I think because of that, that should be an A tier. If there wasn't like any restriction or like any gimmick to it, that would be an S tier. But the fact that it's only really valuable late game if you're not starting with South America, yeah, it's kind of a focused ability. Requires you to really have a game plan for it. Whereas this is sort of more, it's more of a like plug and play ability. Although I think it really falls off later on, but it's not bad. It's probably B tier, I would say. Because when you take like a crit for, because I mean mechs can be crit. When you take like a big hit, like a 15, like it being 13 doesn't really make a difference. Although there's like synergy between damage control and absorption field. I'll get to it when we get to absorption field, but yeah, I think this is probably like, yeah, B tier ability. Now time for lieutenant ability. And that for many class is an interesting tier. I see flush, so let's do this one along with rapid fire. So let's do assault. So flush, you will, for the, I think apparently it's 3 ammo. I don't know if it's true, but that's a lot. You will shoot a bullet that will make the target leave its cover. So I guess you can kind of see it as a cover removal ability, although it doesn't break the cover, it makes the target move out of it. The shot will have I think it's a 30 aim bonus, so that's a lot. And it also does like a tiny bit of damage, like similar to collateral damage. And we've talked about collateral damage, how it has ammo issue, and that consumes even more ammo. The pro and yeah, but not only all of these problems, like the fact that like it consumes 3 ammo, it barely does any damage, and I mean that's like a tier, like lieutenant tier, like, whereas this is like a quaddy tier. So you kind of expect more value, but if it miss, it will still like make the target move. The problem with flush is that sometimes a target will go from a like full cover to another full cover, effectively not even giving you the value. It consumes 3 ammo, but to me the worst is that it competes with rapid fire, making this like just a bad pick overall. Although flush does have synergy with Overwatch's ability, where you can flush a target and have people Overwatch to shoot it when it moves out. That's a possible synergy there. So it does have synergy with mechs with with the advanced fire control or sentinel support, to name a few. But I don't think it's I really don't like this ability at all. I would go as far as to say it's a D tier ability. This one might be controversial and I might be wrong. But then you have rapid fire, that is one of the best ability in the game by far. Like if squad sight didn't exist, it might be the best ability in the game. Rapid fire, you shoot twice in one action with a 15 aim penalty for each shot. So you'd think, well, you did put snapshot low because aim penalty. What else did I put low that gives you aim penalty? Well, mainly snapshot, right? Then why is rapid fire so good? Well, first of all, 2 shot means double damage. And the assault class is by far the best class to do damage. So being able to shoot twice, absolutely amazing. But the main thing is that the aim penalty, you don't even feel it, because this assault class, when you're using shotgun, as long as you're in proximity to the target, you're getting such a crazy aim bonus that you just don't even feel it. And you want to know the worst about rapid fire and what makes it so good? Not only, well, it does shoot twice, it doesn't even have a cooldown. So you can rapid fire, next turn rapid fire, next turn rapid fire. Whereas like double tap have a cooldown. Bullet swarm, heavies have no aim. So well, you could tell me, yeah, I mean, that reduced the aim, but like, compared the aim of an assault to the aim of a heavy, it's 2 different worlds. Or pretty much like the aim of a heavy with anything else. Yeah, the damage you can produce with rapid fire, and then if you combine that with aggression, bring him on, killer instinct, is just absolutely ridiculous. It is clearly one of the best abilities in the game. Just amazing. I guess we can do support, since I see revive and rifle suppression. Revive. So when you have a soldier that is knocked out and you're trying to revive or like use a medikit on them, if you don't have revive, you normally would just stabilize them, which means they won't die, you won't lose them, but they can't move, they can't do anything. You'd have to use another medikit to revive them. Revive simply bypass that, and like when you use a medikit on a knocked out soldier, they will be straight up revive with, I think, 33% of their health. So what it does, it's pretty good. Like, if it does have synergy, like very good synergy with the secondary heart, which is a gene mod that when a soldier would die, you are guaranteed to have it go down, because normally it's based on your will. And they have 5 instead of 3 turns before they bleed out, and they don't lose will by going down. So there's like crazy synergy you could do there with like your A team. You just give them all like secondary heart, and you have like at least 1 support with revive. 2 would be even better, because then if one of the support go down, you have the other one that can revive it. So yeah, quite a lot of value. And then it does synergize with Savior, with Field Medic. Good synergy there. It's definitely, I don't think it's like crazy, because like if nobody goes down ever, then it does nothing, right? I think at what it does, it's pretty good. And it does have good synergy, so I think it's an 8 here. Pretty nice. And rifle suppression is literally the same thing as suppression, so I'll put it next to each other, although it's 1 tier higher. And the difference is really more the synergy from the class, because with heavies, you have synergy with the rapid reaction, mayhem, danger zone, whereas like the suppression from the support have synergy with sentinel, covering fire. So overall, not great ability. So I think it probably sits next to each other. Then the next tier, let's do, well, I have a sniper here. Let's do it. The battle scanner. How good is the battle scanner? On paper, it seems good, but I think it's like clunky ability that isn't crazy. Battle scanner is pretty much a grenade that you throw that reveals an area. That's what it does, scanning it. This ability has a few problems. The first one is that the sniper is by far the class that sits the bag the most. So if you run a squad side sniper, it's pretty bad, because you'll never be like in a good position to get to throw it. I guess if you were to use snapshot, this would be more appropriate, because disabling shot have a aim penalty that had itself on top of snapshot, so it's probably more fitting for a snapshot sniper, to be honest. But the only, like, you can't throw it very far, pretty much the same as a grenade. The other problem is that it doesn't go past cover. So if there's like cover, it will block the scan. It doesn't handle height difference at all. So like if you try on like one floor and there's like like a step that leads to like a different elevation, you won't get to see that area. So that's another problem with battle scanner. One cool thing about it is that it allows you to reveal seekers when they cloak. If a seeker that is cloaked go in the range of a battle scanner, you will reveal them. So there is value there if you're early game, but considering its Luton tier ability, yeah, it's not usually, yeah, it's not. I think personally, the cases where I like battle scanner is same idea as gunslinger. It's on my operative for Exalt mission, where I mean they usually start on their own, so being able to scan air can be nice. But you gotta be careful, because sometimes battle scanner, by scanning a group, will trigger it. And that's something to keep in mind. And I think because of that, I guess I'll just put it next to it. I don't think it's a great ability at all. On the other hand, disabling shot, whoo, is that ability cool. You shoot a bullet that have an aim penalty of like, I think it's 10 or 15, I think it's 10, that have the ability to disable a enemy weapon, and they have to reload it to shoot again. It is quite amazing on specific enemy. The best example to me are Mechtoid and Sectopod. In the case of the Mechtoid, they can only shoot, right? So if you disable them, they are rendered completely useless, hard countering them pretty much. In the case of Sectopod, you prevent them from shooting you, so they'll either do nothing or charge their clutter bomb. So yeah, in those cases, it's quite amazing. I think it's either honestly a or maybe even an S. It really is amazing. And then against other target, like being able to like disable like a mutant weapon is always nice. Stuff like that. Although in the late game, you start to use it less because your damage output is so high that usually you'll just kill something with headshot anyway. That might be the issue. It's not an ability that I use often, but I always take it for those off chance, and when it does work, it works super well. Yeah, I think it maybe just be like a high A. It's really good, but it's not like something you use all the time. It gets more value when your team kind of suck and do no damage. Is one, I guess, something worth noting. I guess we can do. I guess let's do heavies. That's not really gonna be a long one because there's a clear winner here. It is Itamo. So you do 50% more damage with any form of damage you have. It will be applied to you. So like your weapon, your grenade, your rocket, even your psionic power. If you use if your heavy is a psi soldier, gets the boost out of that. I think even the gene mod, neural feedback or whatever that one is called, that do damage to enemy that use psionic power on you. I think even that gets the bonus, but that I'm not sure. But yeah, just a flat 50% extra damage to robotic unit. And I mean, a lot of them, first of all, are beefy, and a lot of them are big threat that you want to take seriously. Such as the Mechtoid, such as the Cyberdisc, Sectopod. Also apply on drone, although they're not crazy threatening, but still apply on them. Yeah, very good ability. Not doesn't apply to many targets, but on those that it works on is absolutely amazing. I definitely think it's better in vital point targeting because it really makes a difference. Honestly, it's really good. Actually, I think that's about where it goes. Not much to say about it, just flat damage increase, but it really makes heavy really good at killing, in particular like Sectopod and Mechtoid, because they don't have crazy defense. They don't use cover. Same could mostly be said about Cyberdisc, but they have a bit more defense. But yeah, very good ability. Rapid reaction on the other end, absolute ass. It's so you give a class that have no aim the ability to shoot a second Overwatch shot if they hit their first one, in case it never happens. Is there more to be said? I don't think so. All right. Have I done the I think the next tier for right, the next tier for Max would be All for One and Jet Boot Module, which it's an interesting tier. Not sure where I would put them because it's not an ability that I have used much. So pretty much what All for One does is you turn your mech into a full cover, which there's quite a few maps that the cover that you have is pretty garbage. So being able to just put a full cover pretty much on any tile you want is actually pretty cool. And I mean, I think that's pretty cool, but the only problem with One for All is that if you put then a soldier behind it to use as cover, then the game consider it as you having clubbed up your targets. So you're kind of like asking the game to grenade you. At least the cover will not break unless the mech dies, but it's yeah. You often get grenaded if you do that, so I guess careful about it. But other than that, it's pretty cool, yeah. The ability to just generate cover wherever you go is, it's kind of, I think it gives like mech a nice, I think it's one of the coolest design mech ability. It really makes them a bit more unique in that regard. And I kind of like that. I think it's probably like either a B or an A. Because it's like most maps you just don't need it, so yeah. But on some other map it's pretty damn nice. Like especially on like UFO landing or crashes where usually the cover is pretty garbage and they're often laid out as an open field. Being able to put a full cover wherever you want is kind of nice. Jet boot module on the other hand, and it's kind of nice utility for a team. Jet boot module on the other hand is mobility for the mechs, so it allows them to actually climb on high ground, which normally they can't do because they can't climb a pipe like your regular soldier can, which allow them to potentially get on the high ground. And that's kind of nice because here's the thing, most high ground in this game have either no cover or half cover. There's extremely few cases of high ground position that have full cover. There's a few, but not many. And because of that, it's kind of hard to usually use cover in those positions. But, and that's also something that could be said about damn good ground, by the way, is if you go to high ground and then use a half cover, which is what you'll mostly see on high ground, then the defense bonus, if you were to get hit, can help to mitigate that. But what I was about to say with jet boot module is because the cover on high ground is usually pretty poor, sending a mech up there doesn't make a difference because they don't care about cover in the first place. So they can easily abuse like high ground to get better aim advantage, pretty much. So yeah, that is pretty cool. I think it's a nice utility. It enables the mech to go on high ground on the position they normally could not. And yeah. Also, the last thing I'll say about jet boot module is that because they can go on high ground, they have an extra mean to potentially break line of sight, which is kind of like a big deal for mechs because that's usually how you want to like use them to like avoid damage, is like not go behind cover, but just literally break line of sight so they're hidden. So because of that, I almost would put it maybe A tier, but it's definitely an ability I haven't used enough. Yeah, maybe it's an A tier ability. I might be wrong on this one, but it definitely adds a verticality to your mech plays. Now let's move on to the captain tier. Now we're getting to some higher tier stuff. Not the like top tier, but there's some good stuff in that tier. So let's start with, I guess we have this one here, so let's do assault. And where is Bring 'em On? That's an interesting tier. So close combat specialists, any enemy that come within 4 range of your assault will take a free Overwatch shot. So yeah, that's a nice ability because assault are often rushing toward people, so it's definitely on the class that it should be. I don't think it's a particularly crazy ability, but it does counter some enemy pretty well, mainly chrysalids, zombies, and berserker, because they only have melee attack. And if they want to attack you, that means they have to take at least one shot. So that is nice free damage. It really, you can quickly like make quick work of a berserker that way. Usually you'll shoot it once or twice if you have rapid fire. Then it goes into you and then you shoot it again, giving you up to 3 shots easily. So yeah, it's a nice ability. But I don't think it's like crazy or anything, but it's a nice extra ability. So I think it's like probably a solid B tier. It's not crazy, but it does work well against some enemy, and yeah, it's against other though it's kind of useless, mainly range enemy. Quick note about close combat specialists: if you are going to use mimetic skin, the gene mod, it does have anti-synergy with this, because if an enemy comes close to you and you are cloak, your guy will take a shot and uncloak itself, and then you might run into the risk of losing it. That is also one reason why I think it's not higher than that. I personally don't like to use it because, well, I think it makes the game too easy, but if you were to use mimetic skin, beware of its anti-synergy with close combat specialist. And I usually put this on tactical senses assault because they don't particularly synergize well with Bring 'em On. If I have an aggression assault though, Bring 'em On is absolutely fucking fantastic. So for each enemy your squad is seeing, not just the assault, you gain an extra damage on your crit. And I think it caps at 5. So I've had funny cases where like I took a pistol, like regular pistol shot, and it did like 6 damage because of that. If that gives you an idea of how much damage it can have. Yeah, it's a pretty, like, the trio of like aggression, Bring 'em On, and then as we will see later, Killer Instinct, really can give your assault like crazy damage output. And this is what makes the assault the king of damage in XCOM. Enemy wooden. It's yeah. Not much to say about it because it's just more damage on a crit, and assault, they love to crit and they're really good at it. So yeah. I almost couldn't make a case it's S tier, honestly. Yeah, if you're going to go aggression, probably I would say definitely take that. Some note about it that I think is worth pointing out. It Bring 'em On, I think by itself kind of like allows you late game to delay getting a low cannon, because this kill can compensate for like the lower damage you'll do with your laser or the scatter beam shotgun. It's because it really, you can really, like, it really does add damage to your gun, and can like allow you to like either focus on getting like the Abby plasma first or sniper plasma, depending on your liking. So yeah, Bring 'em On really does. I'm kind of tempted to honestly put it maybe S tier. It really is nice. Maybe that's too much though. Yeah, for now I'll just leave it here because it's pretty versatile too. Although I guess the one problem some could point out is, in many cases it's kind of overkill. Like if you crit a something more like a muton with like a scatter beam shotgun, you often more than not don't need it. So yeah, but I think it's like more an ability that I like to like take down like like beefy, like high health enemy, like Sectopod or Mechtoid even, or Mutant Elite. Very good at that too. And a very good ability. So that is for Assault. Now to do, I guess we could do, I guess let's do Mech. Since I guess we're in the Assault thematic. Oh wait, no, that's this one. They kind of look the same, the icon. So expanded storage and repair servo. So expanded storage gives you more ammo, as I've discussed when I talked about collateral damage. 50% to be exact. So it does synergize also with the ammo conservation foundry project. Gives you an extra charge of restorative miss and the grenade launcher for the mech. And I think that's it. I mean, not much to say about it. It gives you more stuff, so but it's on a class that definitely needs it. So I think it's, honestly, I would put it A tier, because mechs are definitely a class with ammo issue, and like mitigating that really is fantastic. Especially once you go to like some of the later ability that they get, such as reactive targeting sensor, you'll start to really be and like overdrive, you'll start to really be you like shooting a lot. So I think it's pretty good. Repair servos, on the other end, I think is pretty garbage. Probably one of the best ability of this tier, but so what it does is allows you to heal your mech 2 HP per turn up to 6. It's for perspective, expanded storage gives you an extra restorative mist if you go for that. That almost heal for that, and not just you, your teammate as well. And the other thing is like repair servos. Shiv can have that upgrade as well, but unlimited instead of like being up to 6 HP. So I find that to be, this ability is so underwhelming. It barely heals you. It's just not good. Actually, is it better than this ability? I don't even know. I don't know, but it's definitely just a bad ability. It just barely heals you. If it was like unlimited, like if there was no cap to the HP you could get, that would definitely makes it better. But mechs have such a large HP pool that up to 6 HP, it really, it would maybe make a difference early on, but early on you don't have that ability. I guess we can do heavy. Heavies. They get Grenadier and Danger Zone. I think both ability they're good. I don't think there's like per se a better choice here. So Grenadier gives you an extra grenade. That's it. If you like your heavy to use grenade, Grenadier is a good choice. Danger Zone, it increased the range, the blast radius of your rocket, and it also turned your suppression into like a mini AoE. So you can technically suppress if like 2 or more target if they're like really close to each other. Although that's kind of rare that it happened. In the case of Grenadier, I think it's probably B tier. Probably goes along with these two. I think that's kind of like similar value. Like it gives you 1 less. It gives you go to 2 grenades instead of 3. But you could technically carry like 2 sets of grenade. So yeah. And Danger Zone, I personally don't think it's that crazy. I think it's probably a C tier ability, because you almost never need the extra range from the rocket, and sometimes it can be a detriment, because bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. And the suppression range, I never had that. I never noticed its effect really. So yeah, not the greatest ability, but there's definitely worse. I guess now we can do, I guess, a sniper, executioner, and opportunist. That is probably another tier that is very like 50-50. The way I see that tier is executioner is better on sniper with not good aim. And opportunist, I think, is better on sniper when they already have good aim. Because executioner, you have an extra 10 aim on target with below 50 HP. And opportunist remove is kind of like, where did I put it? Advanced fire control. It removes the aim penalty when you overwatch. And it allows your sniper to crit. Personally, the ability to crit, I don't really care about it, but I guess it's nice. But it does indirectly synergize with squad side, and here's why. Sometimes it will happen that an enemy currently doesn't have LOS, your sniper doesn't have LOS on an enemy, then you can't shoot. What you can do, instead of like trying to move it to a different angle, because sometimes you do want to keep your position, you can overwatch in the off chance that in the alien turn they move in your crosshair and you get to shoot it. And opportunist is very good at that because it allows you to secure those kills more easily. So yeah, that's personally how I like it. I like to use it, and I think because of that I would put it with next to advanced fire control. Like the extra like you'll rarely ever get the crit to prog because squad side. But still, having a more reliable overwatches is nice, especially on that class that have good aim already. You want to preserve that. Executioner, I would put maybe B tier as well. Yeah, it's nice on some enemy too, like such as Mutant Elite, like that have such crazy high aim. The ability to, if they're wounded, to like hit them for an extra 10 aim is kind of nice because the Mutant Elite have literally 30 defense, so yeah, can help in that. It's pretty nice. All I see here are, have I done, no, I haven't done support. Oh boy, 10 smoke and combat drug. Oh boy, what is that here? There's a clear winner here, and it is not combat drug. Dense smoke, turn your smoke from 20 defense to 40, and it also makes them larger. Both effects, which are extremely nice. And I think if you have a support that gets to that tier, you should always give them dense smoke over combat drug. Like, it really makes smoke much better. Like, you can, in Impossible, if you're behind full cover and you dense smoke a soldier, you can make it, you can have as much defense as many enemy have of aim, such as the Mectoid, Sectopod, to name a few again. And their only chance of hitting you would be if they flank you, if they get close enough that they get aim bonus, or if they do spam you with shot, they might eventually get a shot because 0% shot don't exist. The minimum is 1. So, but I'd rather. I mean, the chance of you getting hit, it did happen to me, but it's very low. Combat drugs, I don't understand this ability. Like, not sure what they were thinking when they designed it, but it just makes no sense. If you're going to smoke a soldier, it's to protect them, not to enhance their will by 20 and their crit by 10%. Like, the bonus are too small. Like, the will is useless. Like, if you're going to buff your will, use a Psy Inspiration, not this. And the crit bonus, like 10% is just, yeah, that's too little for a consumable. Yeah, it definitely goes in the D tier. Garbage ability. All right, I think we arrived to the major tier, which has a lot of nice ability. I guess since I mentioned, we'll do overdrive first. So overdrive, if you don't move, shooting doesn't end your turn, meaning you can shoot again, like I said, or shoot reload, or shoot restorative miss, shoot move, whatever, what fancies you. And I think if you've seen where I put bullet swarm, definitely goes in the same tier. And I put it above a bullet swarm because mech can have better aim than a heavy. So yeah, I'm not gonna repeat everything about it because I've already done it before, and yeah. Like, and I already talk about the synergy with the platform stability. So yeah. Next, extra conditioning. Assault will gain more armor based on the armor they're wearing. So if you use light armor, which is your starting armor, you'll gain an extra 1. If you use a medium armor, think carapace armor, or I think psi armor is also considered medium, you gain an extra 2. And if you are wearing heavy armor, you gain an extra 4. Titan armor being a good example. More HP on a class that is a frontliner? Hell yeah. That is really nice. You combine that with Shiden armor, and you're looking pretty tanky. So yeah, solid 8 here. It really makes Assault better at soaking up damage. Can sometimes makes the difference between, like, let's say being like in the late game being 2-shot and being 3-shot, depending on what shoots you. Low profile. Actually, let's do Will to Survive first, since it kind of goes with extra conditioning. Will to Survive reduce the damage you take by 2 if you are not flank and behind cover. Can be either type. It can be half or full. It will proc the effect. Same thing, makes you more tanky. Pretty nice. I don't think it's like particularly like overpowered or anything, but yeah, I mean, can make the difference between being 2-shot or 3-shot, for example. Low profile. Any half, if your sniper is behind half cover, it will count as a full cover. It is pretty nice for multiple reasons. Like I've said before, most of the high ground cover are half cover. So turning them into full cover is very nice. Not only that, if you use Mimetic Skin, you have to run to a full cover for the effect to proc, while also not being seen. And because the cover will be, any half cover will be considered as full cover, you can pretty much use any cover and get the effect. Absolutely. I don't think it's busted, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it makes your guy more survivable. All those snipers, they rarely get shot at anyway, because they're usually, if you use squad sight, out of line of sight. So, but still, makes you more survivable. I like it. And Deep Pocket, that I guess goes, I think it's like the weakest of the major ability, but still is nice. Gives you extra medikit or extra grenade or extra whatever you give them. So an extra 1. If you give them like only 1 medikit and let's say like a scope, you'll only get 1 extra medikit, but then if you give them like medikit and something else, you get an extra 1 of each. Pretty nice. And now for the Colonel ability. I'll put them in wait, where is Mayhem? Okay, I think one of them is missing. Huh. That is strange. Yeah, there's one missing. Yeah, so let me count just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's one ability missing actually. I'll get to it when we get to the heavies ability, because one is missing. So resilience makes your assault immune to crits. Literally, you just can't be crit anymore. It really makes your assault more tanky, and I think I might go as far as to say it's S tier, because yeah, it really makes a difference. Like, crits in this game is what can, like, in the late game, it really is what will do a lot of damage. Otherwise, like, crits is really what can, like, mean the difference between surviving a hit or not. So being completely immune to it, yeah, it really makes your assault, like, much more survivable. Is it an S tier though? It's definitely A at least, because it makes you, like, I think I'd, like, if I had to choose between resilience or like extra conditioning, I think resilience is better, because crits are quite nasty. They're just getting like an extra like 2 to 4 HP late game. It's yeah, I think I would actually go as far. It's probably like a low S, but yeah. Killer Instinct. When you run and gun, your critical hit do 50% more damage. If you have Bergamot and aggression, you will do big damage. 50% is a lot. It either is an A or an S, although it's just on when you run and gun. But then, like, let me tell you, if you run and gun something to flank it and shoot it with a alloy cannon with rapid fire, unless it is a sectopod, it will die. It yeah, honestly, yeah, that ability might not seem like it, but it's really fucking good. Like, Assault, they really get good. Like, it's probably the class that just get better ability as they rank up. It's not like heavies. I would say it's like the opposite. They get all their good ability early on, and as you progress, their ability get actually worse. Like, I'd rather have Bloodstorm than like Danger Zone, or what was the other one? The Grenadier. But yeah, I mean, you'll do big damage. Like, this combo of like Killer Instinct, aggression, bring them on, and rapid fire. You are by far the best dealing damage unit in the game if you put that all together. Rocketeer gives you an extra rocket. I think it goes with all these abilities. It gives you extra thingy. It's nice, an extra rocket. Although late game, it's not the most crazy ability, I think, but it does have a, yeah, I mean, an extra rocket. I won't complain. Yeah, Mayhem on the other hand, increase your rocket and your suppression damage depending on the tech. Well, it's not here. Mayhem would be probably a C. It's not good. Like, the damage increase is too little is the main problem. Like, I think it increased it by like 2. So like a regular rocket would do 8. Like, that is way too little damage to really make a difference. It's not like Bergamot or Killer Instinct that really makes big damage, that especially synergize together, that makes really big damage difference. Like, yeah, Mayhem is just too, I don't think it's good. I would put it in the C tier if it was here. Sentinel, same thing. Like its only real synergy is with suppression and covering fire. But like I've said before, covering fire is bug and doesn't work when half the time like it should. And the only other synergy it has is with suppression, and more often than not, I feel like you should be picking revive. I guess if you do pick suppression, go with sentinel. But even then, like you sometimes don't even get all the shot because the enemy either doesn't move or you're and if you don't have current fire, it just stayed there and like shot and yeah, didn't trigger. So yeah, and like even then, like it's on on the class that does the least damage. So like support, they rarely crit. They have the weakest gun in terms of damage. Like you don't use support to do damage. I feel like so. I feel like Sentinel would be better if you play with the training roulette and get that ability on, let's say, like a sniper or another class. So yeah, and I think it pales in comparison to Savior that really makes you heal more HP when you use Medikit. So you can upgrade Medikit in the Foundry so they heal 2 extra HP. You have a medal that also you heal the target for more HP, and then Savior. I think all that together, it goes to like 10 or 12, I forgot. But it starts to be meaningful. Like usually that's about a damage like a regular hit will do in late game impossible. So yeah, it's like 1 medkit to heal one instance of damage, whereas like without it, it's usually you'll need like 2 medkit, especially if you get crit. So yeah, Savior is pretty good. Does heal a good chunk of HP. I think I'll put it next to Revive. That's where I think it sits. So yeah, pretty good ability. I think in the case of support, like their Colonel ability is pretty one-sided. Unlike like you have heavies that neither are particularly insane, and then you have Assault that have 2 that are really good. Snipers in the zone versus double tap. So, well, I guess we already talked about double tap a bit, like, so I think it's a no-brainer. One of the best ability in the game. I might actually put it above lightning reflexes, because here's the thing: snipers, they have very good aim, so those 2 shot almost will ever connect. Then it's synergized with disabling shot. So yeah, very good for damage. It's between that and in the zone for burst damaging a single target that have a lot of HP. It is definitely the superior option. In the zone is very good to like clear out like drones, or you know, when you do like Exalt and they drop soldier or stuff like that and they're out in the open, you could technically wipe them all out with like 1 turn with this. But it's like in those scenarios, they never drop more soldier than your soldier should be able to handle. So I don't think it's particularly like, I think it's an overhype ability. It's not bad, but it's not like double tap is just better. Like, because in XCOM, it's usually not like those like squishier target are not really like what is hard to kill. It's like your Sectopod, your Mutant Elite, like those beefy target. So being able to do more damage on those is, I think, what matters the most in Impossible. Because the thing is, like, you need to do within the zone, like, for it to proc, it needs to be exposed. It needs to be the killing blow. It's like a lot of conditional stuff, I think, that kind of hurts it. And in my opinion, it's just weaker. It's not a bad skill, but it's not like double tap is super reliable, I feel like. Because getting like 2 attack every 2 turn, because like I said before, it has a cooldown of 1 turn. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it's on a class that actually have like crazy aim, unlike most mech and heavies. The only kind of mechs that have good aim is if you turn your Colonel Sniper in a mech. So yeah. And talking about mechs, let's finish with their 2 Colonel ability. reactive targeting sensors, and absorption field. I'll actually do absorption field first because I think it honestly is a better resilience. It really is fucking good, especially on a class that can easily struggle tanking a tanking shot. So absorption field, if you take damage that is more than a third of your HP, the hit will be reduced to that number. No matter if it's regular shot, a crit, you will never take more than a third of your health as damage. That means you will always need at least 3 shots to die, which is pretty fucking cool. Not only that, but it does synergize with where is it? The with where did I put it? Dude, there's so many ability in this game. It's actually crazy. With a collateral damage. The ability that, like, when you take damage, the later instance of damage is reduced by 2. Wait, am I blind or I can't? Where did I put that thing? Huh, I can't see it up. No. Huh. No, that's one for all. Huh. No, that's repair. Wait, where is it? Damage control. Jesus Christ, I'm blind. It does synergize if you give your mech a tier 1 suit, so they have less max HP. Because it gives 8. And then you take like a sectopod hit or whatever, it's reduce that to 1/3, then you take the damage, and every future instance of damage will do very minimal damage because this is applied after. Same for shock absorbed armor as well. Big synergy there makes the mech much more tanky. I think it's definitely better in reactive targeting sensor because this is like a covering fire that I guess it's not very a good comparison, but pretty much when the mech gets shot at, you will shoot back at a target, and it does that once per turn. Like, and the problem with this ability is that it triggers after you've been shot at, so you really want to have them miss on you for it to. But then you're a mech with no defense. You're just like a big HP target, so I find that ability to be stupid. Like, yeah, you're gonna punish the dude and do big damage, but it's like, I think like the idea in XCOM is like you want to try to like kill them before they kill you, but and if they have to, if you can't prevent that, you want to ensure you don't take damage, and that doesn't help neither of those instances. So I think I almost want to put it here. And it's like 1 shot per turn, like it's not even unlimited. If it was like uncapped and like every shot you take was you'd shoot back, that would be freaking. I would be like, okay, yeah, you take a lot of shot and like you just go burr on everybody. But that isn't the case. So yeah, I guess that would be my list. I don't know how long I've been talking, probably forever. Let me just like sort these out real quick. So I think the S tier is overall how I would rank those ability. Killer Instinct, do I think it's S tier? I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like, maybe it's. We'll see. Disabling shot, dance smoke, fire rocket, run and gun. That run and gun is worse than fire rocket, and dance smoke is wrong. Yeah. Aggression, is it better than headshot? No, I would say headshot is a bit better. Because, yeah, rocket is like really good early on, but like I've said, late game, Yeah, it's not the headshot. I would say actually is better in disabling shot. Shredder rocket, sprinter. Is jet boot module A tier? You know, no, that's a B tier. That's not. Yeah, that no. Those are like low A, I would say. Expanded storage. That's pretty good for max. Is it better than revive? Because it really enables the class. I think it actually is really good. It's better than vital point targeting. Platform stability. I'd actually say yes. Better than sprinter though? No. I think that's where it hands. E-Tamo is absolutely amazing. Well, I think these three kind of goes together in terms of power. Are they better than dense smoke? I would actually say yes. And even better than yeah, I think it's right here. Killer Instinct in the S tier. I'll come back to it. I think the rest here is overall fine. Yeah. In the zone, close combat specialist, rocketeer, smoking. That's yeah. I think of like the increased like capacity of like utility. I think rocketeer is the worst after grenade. Deep pocket I would say is better. Actually, grenadier synergized with ghost grenade, so I would actually rocketeer is the worst. I would say damn good ground is one of the best B tier ability. It's like pretty good. Tactical senses I would put. It's about here. Close and personal. About yeah, along with them. One for all. Yeah, that stays there. You stay there. You can go, I would say, yeah, like this. These can stay here, same. The rest of this tier is fine. Like this. The C tier. Reactive targeting sensor, danger close, smoke grenade. That's a funny tier. I think overall that is a fine one. Maybe put that. Nah, Sentinel is better than these. Definitely not worse. Yeah, Sentinel is like the best of the C tier. And the D tier, combat drug, repair servo, flush. Flush is better than these. Distortion field might be one of the worst. Like, these are really the worst. Repair servo barely does anything. Like, covering fire when it works, it's nice. Yeah, I think it's like this. So the only thing is, does Killer Instinct is an S tier. Like it's 50% on crit, but it's only when you run gun. You know, I think it's actually not. I think it's a high A. It's like here. Yeah, it's a high A, but S no. Yeah, I think that's like really how I see it. And then Mayhem is like, I think I've put it in the C. Mayhem, I would say, is among the. It's really not good, I think. All right, well, that would be my tier list for XCOM Enemy Within. Well, considering I've finished Impossible Ironman multiple times, I think there's some. Yeah, there's some truth in this list. So that's the truth, guys. You want to win an Impossible Ironman? Use these. Use this. I mean, jokes aside, yeah, I think, yeah. I think it's a good guideline for what is good, especially here. If there's like, at least like these 6, I would say these are really the ability to use if you, especially like, yeah. The S tier is like, if there's a ability you should really use, it's actually, man, now that I think about that, I'm kind of like, not sure about resilience. I'm like, is it really? Because I don't even use this one too much, and I barely use mech, so I don't really get to use that. But in the case of mechs, it really makes them, like, it's really on a class that struggle with tanking, and that's supposed to be the role, so. But then that can really, like, save you. So yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's a pretty good list. Just that if you're good, you're better off taking Killer Instinct if you never get, like, exposed. And yeah. Because those really makes your dude tanky as fuck, so they're really good survivability. I think I'll stick to that. Yeah, that's how I would rank ability in this game, so yeah. Thanks for watching my XCOM Enemy Within tier list. Hopefully it was insightful, I guess. And yeah, I guess make sure to let me know how wrong I am on any of these skills. Although I think I'm pretty on point with most of them. Like, the only few I would say I might be wrong is these two. What it's called, Flush. I could be wrong. Maybe it could be higher. Sentinel, maybe. That's about it, I would say. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.